Well, let's get into it. So, part one was all about learning about intuitive offerings and learning about how they're all tools that you can use to make meaning. And now it seems like we have a really special treat coming at us.
Yeah. So I don't remember if we like reintroduced me or not, but I am Katrina Dombrowsky. I'm Carrie's sister, first and foremost, and we do Wise Women Wellness together. And my kind of branch of the biz is the spirituality portion. We talk about mind, body, spirit a lot, and of course they're all connected. But I like to do the woo-woo stuff like astrology and tarot, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about Kari and Kamila's birth charts.
Oh, it feels like Christmas. Yeah, it's like
Yes. So I'm super excited. For those of you who are not as familiar with astrology, I'm going to kind of do a little breakdown of what we're going to be talking about: sun, moon, rising. What does that even mean?
Mhm.
And then I'm going to go into Carrie's chart and talk kind of individually about yours. And then I'll talk about Camila's. And then I'm going to do what's called a synastry chart reading. There's a computer program that layers your birth charts on top of each other. And yeah, I'll show you what it looks like a little later. And then we kind of look at what these different points and, connections mean for Carrie and Kamila for your relationship. So,
Yes. Well, and definitely tune into part one before you listen to this. But Katrina also talked about your mama moons and how you have this offering that you can do for clients.
yeah.
Yeah, how you've done this layering or caring for moms and kids. And yeah, tune into part one if you want to learn more.
Good stuff. And I think I'm just as excited or more than you guys are.
That's all about us.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to hear
Oh,
all this stuff?
yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Especially, you know what? I just have to say quickly, as a therapist, we're so often the ones that are just pouring out and pouring into people. So what a treat, like a little self-care thing that you get to pour into us today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's provide that treat. So, yeah, today we're going to be talking about sun, moon, rising, your sun, moon, and rising signs, and your chart ruler. So, the sun sign is, of course, the most common sign that most people think about when they say, like, what's your sign? It's your sun sign. So, the sun sign is derived, of course, from the astrological season that you were born in. And, so each sign is about a month long, and there's 12 of them, so it fits well into our 12-month year. The sun sign represents your ego, where you shine, kind of the more masculine, traditionally masculine side of your personality. The moon is a sign that a lot of people, I think, don't even realize I have a moon sign. What?
No, until recently, I only knew I had a sun sign, and then I was for these things.
Yes. And then the world just expands and opens. I love the moon sign. The moon sign is more connected to your inner world, kind of like your true self. Maybe the side that you don't always show to others. More of the traditionally feminine side of your personality, and also can kind of represent the body that you came from. Like, it can represent your own body, but can also represent the body of the person who birthed you. And so there could be some connections there. That's why I call it the Mama Moon reading, because it's kind of our maternal influence in the sky. As we know, the moon moves much faster than the sun because, like about every month, we get a new like a new cycle of the moon. So,
And a new menstrual cycle. I
yeah,
love that.
yes, there's a lot that could be said about that. Yeah. Um, so your moon sign changes a lot. The moon changes signs a lot faster than the sun does, because the sun stays in a sign for a whole season, whereas the moon moves into a new sign about every 2 to 3 days.
Mhm.
So yeah, and it can kind of, represent like your feelings and your emotional side. So, and then the last one is the rising sign, or sometimes called the ascendant sign, because it represents which sign was on the eastern horizon at the time of your birth and was literally rising in the sky. And so that one, it moves the fastest, because if you can picture like the sun rising, you can almost watch it rise and starts moving into different. So that's why it's important to know the time that you were born. And it's okay if you don't. Like, you can still derive a lot of meaning from your birth chart, but if you know the time you were born, approximately.
Okay, have an approximate time, right?
Yes.
Because I don't usually
Usually. I don't have the actual time, but I have an approximate, and I've heard that like how approximate within a couple hours.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I think you can be pretty solid in knowing what your rising sign is if you know like within a few hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that one is kind of representative of who you come off as. Like, how do people receive your personality? How do you, sometimes it's kind of like how you want to project your personality, like how you want to come off is like represented by your rising sign and kind of like first impressions, right? It's like when you first meet someone, what do you think about them? And then lastly, I think I already said lastly, but I am going to I'm going to touch just briefly on the chart ruler.
Okay.
The chart ruler is which planet kind of rules your rising sign. And so, like for instance, my rising sign is Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by the planet Saturn. And so looking to where Saturn is in my chart, which it happens to be in Capricorn, along with a whole lot of other planets. So I have a lot of Capricorn heavy in my chart. But so looking at what planet rules your rising sign and where it is and what house it's in, and it kind of acts as like the boss of your birth chart, or kind of like a flavor or kind of theme that kind of keeps coming up in your life that lens to look at your birth chart through. So we're going to talk a little bit about both your chart rulers too.
I love it.
Yeah. Any questions so far?
I think that was really good high level. Yeah, I think we've got a good feeling.
Good.
Good understanding.
Yes. So let's dive into Kari's chart.
Yeah.
And I think you know some of it. We talk about this kind of stuff. So I know your chart pretty well.
Yeah.
At least the things we're going to talk about today. So you are a Libra sun, a Scorpio moon, and a Scorpio rising. So you're a double Scorpio.
Spicy.
Yeah. The thing you might not know is that your chart ruler is Mars, because Mars rules Scorpio.
Okay.
Scorpio actually has two planetary rulers, Mars and Pluto, but we're just going to look at Mars. And your Mars is in Capricorn. So Libra sun. And I'm just going to keep it pretty brief and high level. But Kari's ego, where she shines, reminder that's what the sun has to do with beauty and balance and harmony, all very Libran qualities. The Scorpio moon, Kari's feelings, her true self, kind of her inner world has to do with going deep, investigating what as a therapist must. Getting to the core of the problem, being willing to dig in where other people might shy away from talking about things.
I just have to say, I hate small talk. Yes, just like I just want to die. Like, what's the point? Why are we even wasting our breath on this? Because it doesn't matter.
Yep, I have that. You might know what's for you. That's a very Scorpio thing.
Yeah,
is to like, you don't want to get to like, what's the point of small talk? We're going to get to the heart of the matter.
Yeah.
And so that leads me to your Scorpio rising, how you come off to people. It can be a little intense sometimes. Like if you're not expecting someone to be like, and how do you think your childhood impacted? Right?
I don't usually go there on a first date.
But you do toss that energy. People, you're investigative. People, you ask really good questions. And I think that's a wonderful quality, especially being a therapist. Some people really bristle at that.
It depends
on the person.
Yeah.
Because some people might really lean into that and might go there with you, and other people might be like,
too much confess. And people do get that vibe from you because like people, I'm not speaking about a specific instance here, but like a hairdresser or like your dentist, like might feel that energy coming from you. And I know that people share things with you as if you're their therapist, even though you're not. Well, this is not therapy.
Boundaries. Yeah.
But yeah, that's very Scorpio rising of you. And you also have, so I already said you're a double Scorpio, which means that it's just a very present energy in your life, but also Scorpio.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have a stellium in Scorpio, like I have a stellium in Capricorn, which means there's a lot of planets and placements. If there's 3 or more, I think it is, planets or placements in one sign, it's called a stellium, which just means there's a shit ton of energy in that area of your chart. Okay. So it totally ties into therapy world. Scorpio deals with themes of mental health, of shadow work, sex, birth, death.
I'm also a birth doula, so sex and birth.
And you want to be a sex therapist?
There was a time where I thought maybe I would do sex therapy. Yeah, I'm a couples therapist. We talk about sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even to a certain extent, like money, it's like really anything that people are like,
Taboo.
taboo. Exactly. That's what it is.
Yeah, I live for it.
Yes. And you as a Scorpio, like you want to normalize and bring those things into the light. It's like, I always picture like this murky waters where you're like digging around under there and like finding kind of like mossy rocks that you're uncovering and bringing up to the light and being like, this part of you is worthy too. So your chart ruler, Mars and Capricorn in the third house. So some themes there. Mars is all about like taking action. Again, it's a very masculine, like fiery sign, getting shit done. Capricorn brings in this quality of like building something that lasts, very ambitious. And then the third house is all about communication. So like sharing a message, helping others share their message, like right here, right now.
Right. It just feels so true. I mean, and I've heard the cool thing about this is like, I have heard all these things. Katrina's done a Mama Moon reading for me. We've had these conversations, but like hearing it again in a different light. Like there's always something, and with different people to add more to it. Like there's just so much depth. You can get so much out of this.
Yeah. And I like to always share that, of course, this astrology is one lens to look at your life through. There's, of course, like the Myers-Briggs and there's, your Enneagram and
For sure.
and just like the culture you grew up in and your birth order and all of these things contribute to who you are. So sometimes your birth chart alone you might not resonate with every little thing.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's resonating.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That was beautiful.
You're welcome. There'll be more to come. I need to start to talk about both of you. There's some more insights.
Well, you're up,
Sheila, I can tell you're excited. Have you ever gotten like a birth chart? No. Okay. And this isn't a full-on birth chart reading, but we're gonna get into some good stuff. So you're a Sagittarius sun, which I think you knew. You're a Leo moon.
Oh, fun. I like Leos.
Yeah, and Libra rising. We're going to talk about the connection. So as a Libra rising, your chart ruler is Venus because Venus is the planet that rules Libra. And you are, isn't the next line like, I'm your fighter? You are the fighter.
Oh my God.
It's all in so chart ruler is Venus, and your Venus lives in Aquarius. So we're going to talk a little more about what that means. So Sagittarius sun, Camila's ego, where you shine, has to do with energy, ideas, fun, adventure, throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks.
Oh, yeah.
So it's hard. I have goosebumps right now.
It's like brain dump folder comes in. Yeah.
And then also like teaching and learning is a big theme for Sagittarius. So like acquisition of knowledge.
Always reading, always learning.
Yeah, it's very Sagittarius of you. And like travel, like learning by exposure.
Loves travel.
Yes. And also there's like this outward literal travel, but then like inward traveling as well and like learning more about yourself. So lots of different expressions of Sagittarius.
Very cool.
Yeah. So your Leo moon, your feelings, your true self, your inner world has to do with creativity and like childhood playfulness and authenticity. It's really important for Leo moons to be seen and acknowledged for who they are and what they do and what they create. And I feel like I see that in you.
I mean, this whole beautiful business, this space, I feel like it's a like representation of who you are.
Oh my gosh.
Gorgeous. I felt like it's so
This is business is as if just like my mind was created into a physical space.
Yeah. And that's your Libra rising too. I actually put that as a note in here that so how you project your personality to the world is through beauty. It's through harmony, not only with the physical space, but it's through Libra is a lot about balance and peace and justice. And I feel like you do that in your work, helping people find that for themselves is a big part of your work. And then this message is something for both of you because you both have strong Libra placements. I like to share this kind of analogy with my Libra people is like peace. Have you heard of this? Peacekeeping versus peacemaking. Have you heard about this? Okay.
yes.
So, if you haven't heard about it, it's like there's peacekeeping, which is something that many Libras do.
Don't rock the boat.
Don't rock the boat. People pleasing, making, like making yourself uncomfortable in order to make others feel comfortable, like not prioritizing your own comfort in that. It's like, well, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to piss anybody off. Like, I just want to help keep the status quo, help people keep everybody happy, everybody in balance and check. That's very much a Libra thing. And so I like to encourage Libra folks to try to transition that energy into being peacemakers. So what is a peacemaker? A peacemaker is someone who cultivates an environment in which peace is attainable for everyone in it, including themselves. Yeah. So when you're finding yourself kind of like in a situation where you're like, am I doing that people pleasing thing again? It's like, ask yourself, am I being a peacekeeper? Am I just keeping the peace? Or am I being a peacemaker and like proactively putting boundaries in place and
Putting myself on the list too.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great reminder.
And then back to Kamila, your chart ruler, Venus in Aquarius in the 5th house. So what is that all about? Pleasure, creativity, joy, children or childlike spirit, like we've already talked about. That's very much 5th house stuff because the 5th house is ruled by Leo. So there's that kind of connection. But not just having those things for yourself, but wanting all people to be able to access those things. That's Aquarius.
The reason why I created the space, the reason why I created Achilles is because I wanted this for myself, but also for all people to have access to these things, to have all of it in one connected space, to have community, to have that support and love and care and just coziness and comfort and
And you did.
and it's beautiful. So that's
Yeah.
gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was born to do this.
Yeah, Aquarius is very much about like being a voice for the people, for the collective. There's this humanitarian piece to Aquarius, but also kind of, I don't know if this resonates as much for you, but like Aquarius is like a little bit in a detached way. It's like kind of keeping people at arm's length a little bit. And I'm reminded of the quote, I won't be able to quote it exactly, but like, we're big fans of Glennon Doyle, I think all of us. And she says like, I love people like at a distance. She goes, I love people, but not in person. She goes, for example, I would die for you, but I won't like go to coffee. I don't think that's as much you. I'm thinking about like the latest episode I heard with you, like you open your home for your friends to come. So
I could go kind of back and forth depending where I am in my life or headspace. So I totally get that.
So now that we've kind of broken down, both your individual charts, we're going to talk about the synastry chart. So in synastry charts, like I said, we literally layer. Yes.
And have good news or bad news?
Both.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of again looking at where planets and placements align or clash with one another. I feel like synastry charts are usually for like romantic relationships, but also could totally work for like we were talking about like married child or friends or business partners. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, we're gonna look at positive aspects or what I like to call the gifts. And then negative aspects or the challenges. So we're going to start with the challenges first.
I like it.
And then we're going to start with the bad news. And okay, there's a whole bunch more data that we could sift through maybe at another time, but these are the few things that stood out most to me. So challenges. There's a square between Kari's moon rising, all the shit you have in Scorpio, stellium situation. So there's a square between that and Camila's Leo moon. What does that mean? A square means that the planets are 3 signs away from each other. Squares can bring points of friction, but friction can also move you to action. So it's not all bad.
Breakdowns lead to breakthroughs is what I like to say.
Yeah. So typically Scorpio, or kind of stereotypically, Scorpio or like water signs don't play as well with fire signs, Leo. And so
I'm a water sign, a Scorpio.
Scorpio's a water sign.
Oh, yeah. I always think they're so fiery.
Well, there is a little bit of that because it's ruled by Mars. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
Okay, but it's a water
sign, which is what I was talking about, that like murky water. Yeah, it's a temperature.
is a fire sign.
Sagittarius is fire.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of fire. Okay, you have a lot of water, but also some fiery stuff.
Honey, this message is for you. This is why I need a pool. That's why I need a pull.
He's a Scorpio also, just for the rest.
So he needs a pull too. Knowing he needs a pull, but he needs a pull. Yeah.
So yeah, a little bit of friction there between, you've got a lot of planets and placements packed in Scorpio, and they are 3 signs away from Camila's Leo moon. And so this is especially for you to pay attention to, Kamila, is that like, don't let things simmer under the surface, and keep like, if things are coming up that you're feeling friction about, then just communicating that to Kari.
It's a good reminder.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to talk about?
Yeah. So tell me about it right now. Okay, so there's that. And then there's another square, again, 3 signs away, between Kari's Libra Sun and Camila's Mercury in Capricorn. So we haven't talked about Mercury yet. Mercury is all about communication. Usually we hear about Mercury with Mercury retrograde. When Mercury's in retrograde, there can be communication mishaps. That email gets sent off, or reply all happens, or technology is also connected to Mercury. Travel, so like, not a great idea to make travel plans during Mercury retrograde, but just that's a little vibe of what Mercury is about. So Kari's Libra Sun has a square with Camila's Mercury, and your Mercury is in Capricorn. With this aspect, the square between Libra Sun and Mercury,
Our other problem area, growth area.
Yes, your tension that is difficult to express may arise, and this can cause a lack of emotional satisfaction. A romantic relationship with this aspect may end in disappointment. Good thing you guys aren't lovers.
We have a lot more positives than negatives, Mila.
However, in work or platonic relationships, this aspect can generate a lot of energy and interesting ideas, which I do see for you too. So there's the silver lining of that. Yeah. So let's move on to the gifts.
So even our challenge was pretty freaking positive.
Yeah, we can make a positive out of it.
In this chat.
Gotta not simmer. We gotta communicate.
Yeah, say it.
I didn't see any red flags. Okay, I got some beige ones.
That's right.
Yeah, that's part of the vibe. So here's some green flags. Give some positive aspects. There's the Libra connection, which you both have already noticed.
I just say, when I walked into this space, we kind of told the story how we met on the internet. I didn't even know. I told her when we sat down on this couch, I don't even really know why I'm here, but I just feel like I have to know you.
Yeah.
In some capacity. And part of it was looking at her website, seeing this space, seeing everything that she stood for. It was just like this gravitational pull.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to find this place.
And you had just moved here.
I just moved
here.
here.
Yeah.
I didn't know where this
place was here.
Yeah.
Yes. That pretty much describes the Libra connection, because and then didn't you say that you liked Kari's hair?
Yeah.
So like the beauty and
And I
We're
said,
like to stay and stuff. I like your hair.
yeah, I said we're gonna be friends. I could have decorated the space myself. Like, just the vibe was exactly what I would crave too.
That's because Camila's putting out that
Yeah.
putting out. She's just nice.
Oh my god.
She is giving off the Libra
Getting up.
the Libra right.
underneath.
Yeah.
That attracts.
It attracted Kari's Libra Sun right into your space. Okay, some more good news. Your chart ruler, there's a chart ruler conjunction. So Kari's Mars, remember that's your chart ruler. Your Mars is in Capricorn. It's in the later degrees of Capricorn. The next sign that comes is Aquarius, and that's where your Venus, which is your chart ruler, lives in Aquarius, just a few degrees away from each other's chart rulers. So
Neighbors.
your neighbors.
So it's not good if they're farther apart. It's good if they're closer.
No, not necessarily. It depends on, and I'm still learning about gifts and challenges, but like squares are 3 degrees apart, and then like oppositions are where they're like across the chart from each other. That's also tricky. But like there's other aspects within that are positive, even if they're not close. But yeah, your chart rulers are in conjunction, and this speaks to your compatibility and your shared passions. And another thing that can be said about this is that your relationship or partnership has the capacity of being quite dynamic. So like instead of staying static, you are growing alongside and with each other.
Yeah, I feel that.
That's these parts. Yeah.
And there's this kind of masculine balancing the feminine too. Not that either one of you is masculine or feminine, but what I mean by that is,
right,
Kari, your chart ruler is Mars, which is a more masculine sign, and yours is Venus. I mean, I'm sure we've all heard of that, like relationship book, Men Are From Mars.
Yeah.
Buddies. Yeah. Speaking of Mars, you both have, so there's a Mars sextile happening.
Okay.
Yeah, speaking of Mars, speaking of sex, there's a it's actually okay. It's a sextile planets that are two signs away from each other. They're in complementary elements. So, we talked about how like water signs don't play very well with fire sign. Mars so Kari's Mars is in Capricorn, which is an earth sign. And earth signs play really well with water signs. Your Mars is in Scorpio. So there's a connection there too. And here's what AstroSeek had to say about your Mars sextile. So in this relationship, both partners, I don't know how you really can do this. Both partners can retain their unique independence while they're interacting with each other. The relationship has a competitive orientation because there's this sense of progress and achievement. Mars is like all about action, fulfillment of desires becomes a stimulus for I did not think about this in a sexual way. Oh my God. Fulfillment of desires becomes a stimulus for action, thanks to which each partner can help the other grow. Through a sequence of new beginnings, this relationship can maintain youthful freshness that stimulates both partners.
Yay.
Yes.
We're going to
do
top.
stimulation. I want us both to be happy.
We just cut out that whole. What I want to say about that is that you two are, in a way, I mean, on the surface, you're competitors. You're both therapists, but you never have seen it like that. I think you're sharing space. You're vibing off each other. You know what each other's strengths are. You are.
I guess we complement each other. I feel like. I mean, we do have a lot of the same values and clientele and things like that, but also like you offer EMDR. I don't. I work with couples. You don't.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we lift each other up and those parts of each other.
And you use that shared passion to help each other's practices grow.
Right. Yeah. That's the whole vibe.
Yeah.
Empowered women, right?
And it's right there in your chart.
Yes.
Okay, so moon phases. Moving on to the moon. In my Mama Moon readings, like I've mentioned a few times, I look at the moon phase in addition to the moon sign and the day of the week you're born. I didn't look at that for you, but I thought it'd be fun to look at your moon phases. So we've already talked about kind of what sign they're in. But Kari, you were born under the energy of a new moon. It wasn't the exact new moon day, but that energy kind of lasts for a while.
Cool.
And so your moon, it looked like a little sliver in the sky when you were born. So it was technically a waxing crescent.
Like yours?
Just like mine, except mine is in Gemini and yours is in Scorpio. But yeah, both waxing crescent. And Kamila, yours is a disseminating moon or a waning gibbous.
Gibbous.
Yeah. So Kari, new moons are all about birth, beginnings, new opportunities. I always think about or to kind of describe new moon energy as like being this dark, rich soil that you can like plant seeds of intention in. And that's kind of how people manifest with the moon. That's kind of you plant the seeds during the new moon and then you watch them come to fruition with the full moon. And then kind of, after the full moon happens, then we have the waning gibbous, which is your moon. And that's all about kind of like scattering, like distribution and like sharing out the things that you've kind of learned. And also does have to do with like introspection too. So that's the kind of energy that you're working with. So kind of to put the two together, I don't know if this resonates for you or not, but like Kari initiates or introduces things and Kamila kind of makes them happen or puts them out there.
That actually really does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have always really admired your get shit done mentality. Really, like I'm really good at the dreaming part and it's harder for me to like close the loop on something. I mean, you like make it
like this podcast.
This podcast.
It was so funny. Kari, before this podcast happened, Kari was like, oh, I've been talking to this business consultant and she's been talking to me about getting on more podcasts or getting on some podcasts. And I was like, we should just start our own podcast.
Yeah. And then we did.
You were saying, like, I want to do this. And I was like, do this right now. I'm like, this is actually happening.
That.
Yeah. And I'm like, do not wait.
Yep. Carrie had an idea. Kamila would have pushed her to do it.
We meet each other. I mean, I know this in my bones, but like, yeah, if you wouldn't have pushed for me, like, what are you waiting for? Like, people need this now.
Yeah.
Let's do this before winter.
Mhm.
I was totally gonna launch it in May.
Oh,
So
that'd be so sad. Look at all the
yeah,
people that are showing up.
I know. And it's like, just do it messy, do it scared, do it
Before you're ready.
and it can improve as you go.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. You're making me grow.
Yeah.
Beautiful tear notebook.
Okay. I want to end by talking about each of your Chiron placements. We haven't talked about Chiron yet.
No, too.
Yeah. So Chiron's actually an asteroid, and we talk about it in astrology because of its connection to Greek mythology. So there's a figure named Chiron who is known as the wounded healer. So I thought it'd be interesting to look at it since you're both therapists.
Yeah.
And because once I looked at it, I was like, oh. So where we see Chiron fall in your chart has to do with the wounds you came into this life with. Don't even say it because you're going to ruin what I'm going to say. I know what you're thinking. That you're now transmuting and helping others to heal from.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So Carrie, your Chiron is in the sign of Gemini. It's in the sign of Gemini in the 8th house. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So we kind of talked about how it's about communication. The 8th house is ruled by Scorpio, which we've talked a lot about already. It's about, those taboo themes, death, sex, mental health. So that tells me that perhaps in a past life or an earlier version of yourself, even maybe like childhood, you were taught to keep things quiet that felt shameful. Things that most people, like those truths at your core, or things that most people consider shameful, you were taught. Like, we don't talk about those things.
It's so beautiful.
And
I'm meant to be able to inspire other people to talk about them in front of all of these
Millions of viewers.
Yes. Millions of viewers. Manifest.
Yeah. So I wrote down in my notes that you are now here as part of your mission to help others unearth their messy truths and dig those skeletons out of their metaphorical closet and bring them to light. You're here to help people communicate about their shadowy shit.
That's my slogan. Help you communicate about your bits.
Yeah, we don't shy away from shadowy shit around here.
This is all beautiful, and you have obviously pulled these things from different resources. It's not like you're making this stuff, pulling it from thin air. Like, you obviously have, resources. And I just want to say, like, you do such a beautiful job of delivering the message that it is. Like, that's where the gift is.
Thank you.
Part of it.
It's a little bit of puzzling things together too. It's like, we know what all these signs and placements are, but like, what does that mean? And
You just feel it.
Yeah.
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 It's such beautiful, meaningful language. Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Kamila, your Chiron is in the sign of Cancer in the 10th house of career, calling, and public life. So Cancer also happens to be where your Jupiter, the planet of abundance and good fortune, and your midheaven, which you'll see on your chart as MC. That's often what people call like your career line. Cancer is a very nurturing sign. It's the sign of the mother. This says to me that perhaps you came into this life, or an earlier version of you, with a wound having to do with nurturing or mothering or being cared for or feeling safe and sheltered. And a big part of your calling is to provide that shelter for others.
Gonna make me cry. My God.
I'm ending on this one because this is the one that gave me goosebumps. So you're providing healing for others, perhaps around neglect or like a mother wound. It's interesting that the sign of Cancer, which has to do with the realm of home, is in your 10th house, which has to do with public life. So like, you're curating your work, your calling is curating this home-like environment that we're sitting in right now to gather in community and help people feel safe, and like they are, like, you're wrapping your eyes around that.
That's amazing. You're just the stuff like kind of for people to have a safe space.
Yeah. So I got chills when, after I wrote these notes about your Chiron, a few days later, you posted this Instagram post.
Yeah.
Can I read it out loud?
Yeah.
So it's a AI image of you and your current self wrapping your arms around your childhood self. Yeah.
Mhm.
She held her younger self close and whispered, "We made it. Now she helps others find their way home too.
My God, stop.
This huggy forget yourself trend brings up so many emotions. As a therapist, I have the privilege of walking beside so many who are learning to love and tend to their younger selves. Thank you for allowing me to witness your bravery, your tenderness, and your return home to yourself. I was like,
Both teary.
yeah,
That's
Wow.
wow, that's incredible. Well, if you guys haven't seen this, and if you're watching in the visual format,
Yeah, zoom in.
it's the little Kamila holding her, or adult Kamila holding her little Kamila.
Yeah, oh, that is so gorgeous. This is powerful stuff. This has the power to really, I mean, like therapy, it's got me thinking about like the tender parts of ourselves or the wounded parts of ourselves and how maybe now there's some answers as to why. Or like it all was not for naught. Like it makes sense, you know?
Gosh,
Where because we all have
that.
things.
Yeah, we all do every single.
Yeah.
And you know what I reminds me of? It reminds me of Tarot Tuesday, because I actually posted a few weeks ago on Tarot Tuesday, am I on the right path? And I was like, this is I was like, this is
And
so
what should learn? Do you remember?
I remember it was something about this question probably keeps you up at night or something.
Oh, it was the 9 of Swords.
Yeah,
Which is actually where my moon, it's connected to my moon sign is the 9 of Swords, which relates to what I was saying for my unfiltered moment. It's like I have those moments where I'm up in the middle of the night, can't fall asleep. It's not always anxiety, but it's like, yep, that is. I was thinking about that when I wrote that response for you. It's like, am I on the right path? That's like one of those questions that can kind of like haunt you.
yeah, but this is so grounding. I'm like,
You are on the right path, girl.
yeah,
For real. There's no doubt about it.
yeah, this is so special. Thank you so much for sharing your gift with us.
Katrina's here and she can help make this happen for you too.
Help facilitate these moments for you as well.
Gosh, thank you.
Well, cheers. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
This is not therapy, but it sure is therapeutic.
Yeah.
Won't make you cry.
Thanks for hanging with us on This Is Not Therapy. If you enjoyed today's conversation, come back next time for more real talk, unfiltered moments, and maybe a little bit of laughter. Until then, take care of yourself, and don't forget, this is not therapy.